Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, it's no audio.
No, there's totally audio.
It's no audio.
You're so mental. No audio. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everyone has had a great week.
I
would like to start out by apologizing.
Why?
Well, so normally we try to do a little bit more Instagram than we did this week. But this week we were working on a top secret project, and we had pieces of it all over the place. And so we couldn't go live to show you. The beginning of the week we could go live, which is going to take us into our first sponsor. And we had a good time doing that. But then towards the end of the week, we couldn't really, because we had stuff all over the place. We're going to tell you what the top secret project was on Monday.
Saludos, Jose.
But we just can't talk about it today because, for one, we're not done with it. And two, yeah, it would have been great because actually we had some free time, and it was like, dude, this is prime Instagram time. And we couldn't because we had other, we had to do secret stuff.
Yeah.
Such a bummer. I hate that. But I really liked doing the secret stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
Secret Santa?
Yeah. So, and also we didn't do the news Friday. I did put up a notification that we weren't going to be doing it.
You're lacking.
I was up at 2:30 that morning, which is weird because normally that's the time I go to bed, but I got up at 2:30 in the morning to watch Haley and my mom do a 5K at Disney. So, and then I didn't get back here until noon, 1 o'clock. So, Boston Acoustic. Oh, that's good. No, anything cool like that. It's nothing cool like that. It was something we had to build, and so we had pieces of it all over the install bay. And so, top secret build for Kicker. Don't even bother to guess. Trust me, it's nothing. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like super exciting. It was exciting for us, but because of it, like it kind of we couldn't show stuff. So it's okay. Excuses, Dean. All excuses. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they sound like excuses. There's no question about it. But it's when it's like real, does it really count as an excuse? Like it's not really. It's like, hey, this is what happened and why we couldn't do this. So I mean, yeah, it could be an excuse, but I preferred Court over Boston. Well, MB Court exists again. That's the
what?
German Maestro. So if you want MB Court, check out German Maestro. That's who they are. It's like when MB Court got bought out by Rockford and then sold to who has it now, the Germans sued because they were like, you're not taking our plant. Oh, good job. You're not taking our plant, moving it to China. And so they sued and won, and they opened, the company is now called German Maestro. And so there you go. ATG build?
ATG build, yeah. No.
No, but can't talk about that one. I know Maestro is all the same guys from Court. Yeah. It's pretty cool. All right, let me shut this off. If you guys want to get your questions into the background, need this. Why are you gonna need it? Oh, you're gonna log in?
I can't.
Why?
I have no idea.
Log in.
I try.
What does it say?
It doesn't let me.
Yeah, get a login code. Dude, you just need the code. Hold on. It's right here.
Good evening, guys. Long Island, New York. What's up? Hey, Marty. How you doing, buddy? It's all good.
Type that number in right there. Stop what you're doing and type in that number. Did you do it? Type in that number. All you got to do is type in that number. I said stop what you're doing and type in that number.
Okay. I was like...
No, you're trying to be funny, but it's not working because you didn't listen to the whole thing. That's a good time to buy a Rockford Primes on special. Really? I have a set because I have to build an amp rack and then take the amps off of it and then take it to Canada, but leave the amps here. Could be a good thing for you guys. Don't know yet. Sorry, I will miss you guys at Master Tech. I am too, Marty.
We're going to miss you, buddy.
It's always fun hanging out with our boy Marty.
That's correct.
So
that is correct.
Will Nando's lab get the Moscone DSP? I mean, we actually have 2 of them. So at some point, yes, but I don't know if it'll get that. Which reminds me, we should, while Fernando's doing
And then,
his thing
and like, hey, this is for where are we going to be
this weekend.
next weekend? It's
Yeah.
going to be
I
in
mean, technically,
March.
this weekend's already over.
Not really.
So,
Yeah.
But anyways, real quick, let me pull this up here. Doo-doo-doo. This portion of the show is brought to you by the fine folks at Moscone-America.com. That's right, the fine makers, Gladen. It's all one company. I know, sometimes confusing, but the reason for that is, let's go over here and we'll turn on Dean's laptop.
What's up, buddy?
This guy right here. So if you guys had the fun of hanging out with us on Instagram this week, you got to see the cool Moscone 830. That's right. We talked all about this. We did a little sound demo. We had a great time putting this in. By far, one of the most amazing amplifiers we've ever had the pleasure of playing with. It was pretty awesome. But if you guys would like to know more about the amplifier other than the price, which all of you guys found out really quick, head over to Moscone-America.com. You can learn more about it. Now, for those of you guys who are like, man, I can't work with that one because like that one's like way out of the realm of reality. That's okay. As Christian found out, you can get one of these guys here.
You can?
Yeah, which is the Moscone 610.
The what?
It is the Moscone 610.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. It's a much more affordable alternative. And the nice thing is, it has the same DSP built into it.
Wow.
Pretty
That's
awesome.
So nice.
Yeah, so there you go. Or the front. All right, hold on. Let me. You find some stuff. I'm going to pull this up. Are the front speakers in a charger series? That way the doors are quiet after cap install. Yes. Yeah. So if you have the base model Chrysler product, Charger 300, whatever, Challenger, all those cars, yes. If it has like, the only one that's not is the amplified version. So, yeah, kind of sucks. All right, what do you got?
All right, here you go.
I need help to have a 212W6 on an Alpine RA75M. That's a mono block. I'm listening to 80s hip hop and rock, and it sounds like bass is just not there. Man, this would have been a great question for the second part of the show where we talked about audio control. You need an epicenter, my friend. Pick up an epicenter micro or a regular epicenter. It really doesn't matter. You get the regular epicenter. Nice thing about the micro is it has the bass and effect knob all in. But what you're missing is that low deep bass extension that just isn't in that music. I suffer the same problem because I listen to a lot of the same music, and an epicenter is designed to fix that. So in the past, a lot of people get all like, I don't want an epicenter because no. But what we found is that for, wow, why is that still on? Oh, hang on. Let me do that. Let me shut that. There we go. What we found is that, for people that listen to that type of music, epicenters do an amazing thing. So either one of them will do the trick. Hello. What's up, Jay? How's it going, buddy? Cheers.
What's up, man?
I'm a fan of the Dayton DSP. It happens. Running Scar subs, amp 1 ohm, and loudspeakers. Perfect.
Love loudspeakers.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We can still be friends. We can still hang out on the weekend. Not really, but I mean, you understand what I'm saying. It's just because I don't like something doesn't mean you can't like something. If it's working for you, 2 thumbs up. Just because you're not on my team does not mean you suck. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good, man. Yeah. I mean, if you got something and you're rocking it, rock it, baby. Own it. Son will be stationed in MacDill next. Hopefully be able to set up an install from a 2022 Ford Explorer. Love the channel. MacDill's right across the pond. So yeah, definitely. Swing on in.
Yeah, it is.
What did Jay say? Very nice shop. Good job. Hello. You guys going to be working Monday? If so, okay to stop by and say hello and thank you. Yeah. We'll actually be here this Monday, so 2 days from now or 2.5 days from now, we will be here. Monday after that, no, not so much. We will be in Mesa, Arizona, doing the first day of first day of classes for Master Tech Expo. Dean drinking Canada Dry, going to Canada, and loves poutine French fries. Dude, I know. Like, good call. Good call, man. I mean, yeah. That's almost something I want to do while I'm there is get a Canada Dry. Be like, I'm in Canada having a Canada Dry. Hey.
Okay, so if you're in Canada, it's not a Canada Dry. It's just a dry.
It's just a dry. Correct. Yeah.
No.
No, I wonder if the cans just say dry there.
Can I hit a dry? Can I get whatever?
Other than Nav TV, have you had experience with the A to B modules? No. We have the other A to B modules, but no. It was weird. You know, obviously we do a ton of F-150s, but in the last couple months, F-150s that have that system in it have kind of dried up. It's kind of odd. So, no, we haven't had a chance to play with too many of them. I have had friends that have, and they say it works wonderful, especially the pack piece. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, because we have the pack piece that's out now. In another month and a half, we'll have the Nav TV piece shipping. I'm sorry, not the Nav TV, the iData piece shipping. The cool thing about the iData piece that's coming is that it's one module that'll go either way. So if you want to replace the radio and keep the amplifier, you can. If you want to keep the radio but replace the amplifier, you can. Nope, still Canada Dry. See, there you go, Canadian Marty letting us know.
The thing is, like, if you're in Canada and still snowing, it's not even dry.
I have no idea where you're going with this. He's got snow. Snow. Even Bobby has snow. Bobby sent me a picture of his snow.
Except Florida.
It's actually really hot here, so that's great. RC Cola. Ooh.
RC
Pizza
Cola.
at McDonald's. We did. Orlando had McDonald's that had pizza, but no, what was that? I didn't see that. But Verner's makes good ginger ale. Oh, yeah. No. So Verner's is my favorite. There's no doubt about it. Like, I'm not. I'll drink Canada Dry because it's what most people have, but no, Verner's is where it's at. I can buy a bottle of Verner's, and if I don't drink it, it will be in my house forever because the girls will not touch it. Dry snow. Yeah, there is. There is such a thing as dry snow. We get snow too. A mountain man. I mean, in the mountains, what are the odds? We don't get snow though. Rumor is Coca-Cola provides McDonald's with their formula in aluminum containers. Better taste. And this is how the show jumps the tracks. It's just like side jag all of a sudden. And I was like, good evening and welcome to 5-Star Car Stereo. Hola! ¿Cómo se llama? Hi, I'm Arturo. I'm here to pump you up. I make your car sound good. Sunday. I know they should have never let us borrow this. Okay, that was fun. The Dane DSP is definitely the best and only option at its price, but there are far better options for more money. Oh, and that is true. And like we had Chris Bennett on Monday, I think, and the Museway, similar DSP is like not that much more, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, you can find the Dayton DSP on sale. I think normally it's like $199. I haven't bought one in a while. I've actually bought two. I gave them both away. But yeah, I mean, there's other DSPs now that are within $100, $150 of it that are way better DSPs. So
yeah.
You know. After the front speakers in the chart, all right, I got that one.
Yeah.
Yep, got that one. Okay, no problem.
All right, so hang on. There you go.
Oh, it says do stand up, Dean. Come to one of my trainings. Not too far from that. Kicker Key 200.4 told you about my failed program this week. Yes, passenger speakers weren't playing. Thanks for the guidance and what to look for. 2 thumbs up. Cool. Glad you got it working. Life is good. Which is smaller, the DSR1 or the Atomos? Atomos? That's a good question, Christian. I think the Atomos.
Atomos is smaller.
Yeah.
Way smaller.
Hold on. That DSR1 is empty. All right, so I'll tell you the DSR1 is cheaper. So here is, hide the comment. Here's the DSR1. And here is the Moscone. So there you go. Yeah, definitely the Moscone is smaller. So I hope that answers your question, Christian. I did that just for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll drive by his house tonight and throw a bag of
DSR1s
in his front porch. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Also, check this out. I'll show this. So this, which you really, can you see that? Oh, look, it's purple. So we're making, for the guys that are competing in the Clean Wire Challenge, are going to get this one time only. It says Clean Wire Challenge right there. And then you can't, kind of, yeah, there you go. There's all the other writing that the wire ruler has on it. But they're getting a purple wire ruler, right? How cool is that? Inspired by Jeff Smith. But yeah, so there we go. They're all the 8 competitors of the Clean Wire Challenge. Purple, baby.
purple.
Yeah, purple's cool. 0800 3-way active Museway DSP measuring front speakers. Do I need to add more inches to dash speakers since they are facing the window? No. No, I mean, take your measurements. What you're going for is, if this is the cone of the speaker, you're going for right here. That's where you're going to try to get to. The windshield isn't going to change how far that speaker is from you. At the end of the day, you're going to put in that mathematical distance, because he's this far from me, and he will. That's not going to change if I put a window here or behind him or in the front of him. He's still going to be this distance. Now, you may have to turn the level up or down, but mathematically, the distance will never change. So that's why you have level control on each speaker. When does the Chrysler 300C video drop? I am a 300C owner and wondering about the SQ system builds preference. Okay, so here's the thing. I could drop it next week and literally piss off every single one of you, because if I put it out next week, then you wouldn't get the part 3 of the install diaries video, which is tempting. It is really tempting, because I could probably edit it quicker than I could do those videos. So there's a couple videos I need to get out next week, and by a couple I mean 2. So that might be one of them, just to get it out, and then you guys can just hate me. So I mean, I'm pretty much used to that, anyways. I mean, you guys are. It's like, oh, he didn't make this video. What the hell? So I really want to get it out. I wanted to get it out last week, but everyone was like, install diaries. We haven't had one in a month or 2 or whatever. I was like, all right, I'll do some install diaries. So yeah. Maybe next week. I mean, I'd like to. Best route for Toyota non-jailable system, plug and play focals or something else, aftermarket deck. Nothing else currently, thanks. So, oh man, my nose itches, too much cocaine, choking. Couldn't help. Didn't even hear me. So sad. So involved in his work.
What's up?
Nope, exactly. 2 systems we typically put into that car, especially when you're doing something that is deck powered, and probably even if you get an amp, it's not going to be too big, is either the Focal plug and plays or either the Kenwood 6902s. Either one of those is a wonderful option to choose. The 6902 is nice because it allows you to keep that 2.5-inch mid-range. However, if you are into bright tweeter, like tweeters tick tick tick, then the Focal solves that problem for you. They both sound great. They both sound amazing. It's just whichever one you want to do. But those are the 2 we typically pick from. Hey guys, have you gotten your hands on an Audio Dynamics DSP? If so, how does it compare to the Helix DSP? There's an Audio Dynamics DSP sitting over there, and it doesn't compare at all. It's not even in the same field. They're both. It's not that it's a bad DSP. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is you're asking a question, how does it compare to Helix DSP? They're not even on the same page. That is not even comparing two DSPs in the same way. They're totally different as far as how the software is done. So they're both good, but the Helix is better. 2019 Forester, need a recommendation on a loaded downfiring sub-enclosure, 5 to 600 watts for the Rockford Fosgates. Okay. So downfiring wise, I mean, if you're looking for something already loaded and ready to go, I think that the closest thing to that is going to be the Kicker L7T12 subwoofer enclosure. As far as downfiring goes, that's probably going to be your loudest option, or highest power handling option that I can think of at the moment. Yeah. So somebody else has an answer that so that's the key though. Loaded, meaning it's already done, all set, ready to go. That handles that kind of power. Yeah, I think Kicker is really the only one that comes to mind right now. Okay. I have an Expert Electronic RLine DSP by Banda. Okay, it's pretty basic. Bluetooth built in, 28 band EQ, time alignment, 18 band parametric, and an app is decent. All for $100. 2-channel in, 6-channel out. You know, that's one of the DSPs that I'd like to get my hands on just to play with it. For $100, I know what I'm getting. As far as I know, it's not going to be probably, you know, the most noise-free, cleanest thing on the market, but it's $100, so it's totally understandable. But yeah, it seems like that has a pretty solid, like, basic skill set that could be fun to play with. So yeah, why not? Please explain amplifiers and RCA inputs and outputs and how you can use them, for instance, sub-amp and a 4-channel amp. Please explain amplifiers as RCA inputs and outputs. Okay, hold on. I know what you're saying. All right. Really? How do we not have one hanging on the wall behind us?
What?
Amplifier with outputs. Does it have an output?
No.
No, none of them have outputs. Okay, well, crap.
We have to put one of the big ones.
Well, yeah, you're the one that doesn't want any more amps on the wall. So,
no,
all right.
I mean.
So here's what we're talking about. If you look at like a lot of 4-channel amplifiers, they have 2 channels of input. They have a front and a rear input. So, and then right in the middle, usually, or off to one side, they'll have a secondary set of RC outputs. And those are what are called non-fade. So the idea is that you can plug in your front and rear RC outputs, and it will combine, meaning you can flick a switch on the side that says, like Alpine is really the ones that really pioneered this, and still really do it today. It doesn't have it. Yeah, that's not the same thing. It has a switch where it can say 1 plus 2, or 1 plus 3, 3 plus 4, or it just has an output, and both RCAs go in, front and rear. Then it'll sum those 2 signals together internally and go over to that RCA output, so that if you fade to the front, it uses the front signal. If you fade to the rear, it uses the rear signal. If you fade between them, it levels it off, and it just puts out sound from that to go off to a subwoofer. The only time you would use this was in the past. Not all radios came with 6-channel preamp output. They would come with, let's say, front and rear only, or just front. And so you could go into those 2 RCAs. You could go into 2 of the RCAs if you had a single RC output, flick a switch, and it would populate 1 and 2 would populate 3 and 4. And because that was all populated now, the outputs would do the same thing. The only difference would be if you faded it to the rear, everything would shut off. But it's so that you can have what's called non-fade, meaning it doesn't matter between front and rear, come out of the sub channel, or go, they call it a sub channel, but it can be used for anything. It really doesn't matter. It's a non-fade output. That way, when you're fading between front and rear, your sub stays the same. Hope that makes sense. It's one of those things that I totally understand what it is you're asking, but might not be able to translate it out to where it actually makes sense. Anyways, what's better? 2-volt pre-output or high-level input from amp inputs for a full active 3-way front stage? Okay, so something you may want to do if you're bored one night is on Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips, the YouTube channel. That's the one we do the news on. There's a playlist there called Fundamentals. And we did like 20 or 30 fundamentals videos where we talked about one simple topic. And this, I think, was one of them. But a 2-volt pre-out or high-level input from the amplifier, it really just depends. I'm assuming we're talking about, let's say I bought a Pioneer, Kenwood, JVC. I bought an aftermarket radio, and for some reason only has 2 volts of output. In that case, more than likely, it doesn't actually have a true preamp section in it. It's got a high-level, low-level built into it, and that's where you're getting that 2-volt output, is because the amplifier in it, you're literally just coming off of the input into a set of RCAs that is lowering the voltage down so that you can turn the volume all the way up without clipping. Now, it usually will go up to almost all the way up, like usually 2 from max on those radios that are like that. So the question is, if you use the 2 volts output, you can turn the volume all the way up, all right? Except for like 2. And then you adjust the gain. Now, anytime you up the gain to match that 2 volts output, you're reducing noise from the gain stage of the amplifier. So that's why you go, oh, well, I should use the high level because I can keep the gain down lower. Well, now you're going to be able, now you have to figure out what's the max volume you can play that radio at before the amplifier clips with the high level output. At the end of the day, you're going to have noise no matter what. It's just, where do you want to have the noise? Coming from the radio? Coming from the amplifier? The amplifier you can control because you can always turn the gain down. The radio, you can't, because you're never going to be happy. I don't know if that helps. It's just, this is something that, you know, like Kicker talks about. Use the high level output. Use the high level output. Yeah, great. Use the high level output, but then your radio clips when it's halfway up, and you're just distorting the input of the amplifier, so you've accomplished nothing. Yeah, I would, in this case, I would still use the 2 volt preamp output if that's what you're asking. High level should have less noise. I don't want blown stuff. Higher level will have, like if you use a 4 volt clean output, but you know, one of your inexpensive radios that has that amp, it really doesn't matter. All right, hold on. Let me pop this one up here. What do you trust when using the gain? Rockford Clean or Steve Mead? I'm using Rockford Clean. I will, if I'm using a Rockford, I will use clean all the time. If an amplifier has a distortion detector of any kind built into it, I'm using it. Yep. Where did you get the new cabinet in the bay, and what are the dimensions? So these are from Home Depot, and the reason why I went with those is because they have a 24-inch top. I don't know how wide they are because you can go to homedepot.com, type in tool chest, and they come in like white, gray, purple, or not purple, blue, gray, black, red. And we bought those because they're 24-inch tops. The counters come from, or the cabinets up top come from a company called New Age, and they make these too, but they only make them at like 16 inches or 18 inches. And that was, we needed, all our workbenches were already 24, and they're not deep enough as it is, so we weren't going to go that way. Continue on. Question. The base seems brighter to me. What are also the lighting upgrade? Yeah, we did all new lighting.
Wow.
Hold on a second. The pipe.
It's coming out.
Yep, it's floating.
Yeah.
So, funny thing, the bay is a lot lighter now, but if you'll notice, so these are the lights that are on during the day. And when we do the show, we have to turn them off. There's still an LED light there, which is like what is shining on top of these so that you can see those guys. But yeah, and then we bought this cool controller here so we can turn it all off. Everything gets kind of dimmer. And then there's lights in front of us, and then we can turn that on, which just adds reflection, and that on just adds a little side lighting for Fernando. But all the new cabinets have lighting underneath them now, and it's great. It is weird that I removed all the Diamond audio equipment and picked up some Kicker CS speakers. All my buddies are talking crap, but they really enjoy listening to them at Best Buy, so I just went for it. Nice. I mean, let us know how it sounds, Kelly. SPL Mel checking in. What's up?
What's up, buddy?
There we go. One more dB.
That's it.
dB. That's all we need. It's one more dB.
Are you going to put the other one?
What's that?
The other sponsor?
Oh, yeah. Good call. That would probably make sense.
Right?
I know. Mel will appreciate this. Audio control. Now, we've talked about high level, using high level out and fun stuff like that. When dealing with a factory radio, not everyone is DSP. So we've talked about high level, and we've talked about basic DSP. Not everyone wants to plug into a laptop, but everyone wants cool things. This is the DQ61. This is a 6-channel line output converter with signal delay and EQ. Now you say, wait a minute, how does it have signal delay?
Yeah, that's mad.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Come on, click on it. Yep, it's not going to come. These blue things right here in the center are for the signal delay. Actually, this top one right here. And what this nice DQ61, they also make it in the DQ-DX. So the DQ61 is for high level. The DQ-DX is for low level. So it has RCA input. And how it works is that you play a polarity pop track, you turn the dial, and it'll move channel this one out and allow you to create a center image. It's actually pretty cool how it works. There's just lights that blink. The downside too is it's usually mounted in the trunk, so you gotta have somebody turn the dial for you, but it's clicky, so it's like click, click, click. So it does make it pretty fun. But for those of you that do not want to do a DSP, but you'd really like an EQ to make the car sound better, the DQ-DX or the DQ61 is something you can check out. Hi guys, I have a 2021 4Runner non-JBL. Didn't we just work on one of those? I feel like we just did one of those last week.
Probably.
I have a set of Morel hybrid 62s and audio control D61200. I would like to go fully active up front. What is the most easy and efficient way to run speaker wires to the dash, tweeters, and front door locations? Or can the Metra 7281 harness help to achieve full active? So it's non-JBL. So what we do in that car is when you pull the factory speaker out, it has the fun little plug that has, it has 4 wires going into it, and then you plug theirs, and that's usually what goes off to the top dash speaker. That's the tweeter. If we're going to go full active, we just leave the plug in with no wiring. So we just cut the wiring off so that the jumper is inside of it, and then we just leave it alone. Then, because that's going to power the front door speaker. All right, so that'll make sure that that is getting power to the front door. And I don't know which harness that is. Chrysler. Do we have any more of those? I think we're out of those. I think you need to order more of those, Fernando.
Which ones?
The Toyota one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we're out of those. You're going to be like, oh, we don't have them. I'll be like, you should order more. Anyways, and then at that point, so now the door speaker's taken care of. At that point, we just run 2 new wires up to the tweeters, go to the amplifier, and it's done. It's a pretty simple process at that point. Now, we'll typically run the tweeter wires into the dash, behind the radio. That way, when we're running all our amplifier wires up in there anyways, they're just right there waiting for us. And that's the only wires you actually have to run is a set of tweeter wires. So, hello from Vegas. Epicenter recommends sending a full bandwidth signal in. Am I supposed to use the crossover on my amp because the crossover on my cheap amp sucks? Yeah, you are actually. So there's 2 ways. There's 2 ways you can use the Epicenter. It sounds to me like you don't have a DSP. So at that point, yes, you're going to have to use the one on the amplifier because the one coming out of the radio in there again, it doesn't need to be full range. It just needs to play up to it. You need at least anything below, you need everything below 160 hertz. So anything below 160 hertz needs to play through the Epicenter. We typically go after DSP before amplifier and use the crossover in the amplifier. They sometimes recommend going out of the radio into the Epicenter, out of the Epicenter into the DSP. I'm not a fan of doing it that way, but whatever works for you. But no, at the end, you will still need to use the amplifier's crossover. 2018 Expedition with Bing & O. Is the Access a DSP okay, or should I have the Zen and another DSP? Depending on what you're trying to do is really what this comes down to. So if you're trying to do an all-in-one that has the DSP built into it, obviously the Access will do that. It's entirely up to you. It depends on the system you're going to put in the car. All pieces should add up to similar quality. So like if you bought the Access DSP and then you bought some really expensive equipment to go after it, might not make the most sense. At that point, yes, you may want to do either the Zen or possibly the Pack piece. Pack makes an Amp Pro for that now that you can get, and then go into a different DSP. But if the system you're trying to build will work with the Access DSP and its functionality, then there's no reason not to use it. I mean, it's there, it's fun, it does its job. So, yeah. Dean, why are you not a fan of Epicenter before the DSP? I just don't want all, I want from radio to DSP. I don't want anything between it. I want my source and I want my DSP. The Epicenter is for my sub. The only place I want that to affect anything is the sub side. Okay, so whatever is coming out of here, the first thing I want it to touch is the DSP. I don't need it to go through the Epicenter. I don't want to make the Epicenter my lowest common denominator. I want the Epicenter to be over here where it's only going to be needed on the subwoofer anyways. So I just take it out of that loop. So that's why I do it. I'm radio, DSP. Nothing between them. We dancing? Mm-hmm. Plus, a lot of times DSP uses a Toshlink input, and the Epicenter doesn't have a Toshlink input-output. So you're going to end up hooking up that way anyways. So, all right, Kicker Key, 204. I told you about my... Yeah, you actually already put this one up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You put it up. What the heck, man? You okay? I was going to say, just close it. There you go. I have a 2006 Saab 9.3 convertible. Man, I'm sorry. It has the fiber optic system, but there is no wiring harness available or radio upgrades. I want to upgrade my system. What do you suggest? Nothing you want to hear. Listen, man, some cars are just a pain in the butt, and you got one. That car right there, it's a pain in the butt. It really is. You might want to check some of the European sites to see if they have anything available for the car, but my guess is probably not because, they stopped making the car. So it's like there's very little that is left to do with those cars. But there's a company in Europe called Connect 2 or Connects 2 with an S. They may make something. Auto Leads, I think, is another one over there that could possibly have something for that. But yeah, I don't know if Spiral Audio has anything either. But that's all I got for those, man. Finally, I catch the stream. Quick question. When you run wires, is it correct that you run the RCAs on one side of the car and the positive, negative, and remote on the other side of the car? Okay, or thanks? All right. When we do a big system where we have like multiple amplifiers, okay, and it's going in the back of the car, then yes. For convenience, meaning we're going to be running a 4 gauge or a 0 gauge, there's only so much room under the floor sill. It's a room thing. So we'll run the 0 gauge up whatever side it needs to go to. We'll usually let the power wire decide where it needs to go. And then we'll run the RCAs and speaker wires and remote turn on down the other side of the car along with the bass knob. Sometimes the bass knob will go with the power if it needs to, just because it's on that side of the car. But it's more convenience than we're worried about noise. Most of the amplifiers have fixed their noise issues as far as like, oh no, if you don't do this, then it's going to be, no, typically not. But yeah, so we do it because of space. There's only so much room under the floor sills now. When we mount amplifiers underneath the seat, the power will typically come out and go up into the engine bay, and our RCAs and speaker wire and all that will come and go to the center console. And there again, it's more of a convenience thing. We're already there. There's no reason not to just go the shortest distance up to the radio. So that's how we look at it. So there's really no wrong answer to this. And if you're just doing a sub amp, it can all go down the same side of the car, because engine noise is like, hopefully your sub amp doesn't have engine noise, but I don't think you're going to pick it up on just, if you're playing a sub at 80 hertz and below. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have heard some engine noise in sub amps where it's like, holy crap. But at that point, you just bought a really crappy amp, and it's not going to matter where the RCA is in the car. You're still going to have noise. Hi, guys. I have a 2020 Highlander. Want to upgrade the sound. Could you recommend a good 5-channel D-series amplifier with stock 8-inch stereo? Don't want to go too crazy. So the Highlander, more than likely you're going to put something underneath one of the front 2 seats just because of the size, space, and whatnot. Something small that's easy to put into that car and not break the bank. The Kenwood 802.5, one of my personal favorites. And if you have kids and you're worried about them like spilling stuff, then you have the XM 802.5, which is the conformal coated marine version of it. So either one of those up underneath your seat, and you're rocking and rolling. Their amplifier is only about this big, and it is probably the most reasonably priced 5-channel amp out there. Now, the marine version is a little bit more because they conformal coat it, but they're again the same amount of power. 2019 Forester for Fuego. Need a recommendation on a... Oh, wait. Dude, you're just circling back around.
Oh, I got plenty, so...
Well, yeah, I know, but stop like, putting up the same question, dude. Come on, man. What are the differences between the in-dash epicenter besides on-the-road control versus the micro versus the regular? First off, they don't make the in-dash anymore, so if you can find one and that's something you want, go ahead and pick it up. The micro versus the regular, okay, all epicenters are the same as far as functionality goes. They all do the same exact thing. The only differences are features. The original Concert Series epicenter, the knob is for effect only, so you put it in the trunk, you have to do all your adjustments back there, and it just does effect. Your subwoofer level control has to be from the amplifier or a secondary device. The Epicenter Micro fixed this problem and also made it smaller and its high-level input along with load resistors. But the knob for that is a new AC4, and what that allows you to do is control the effect and then control the subwoofer volume. So really, it's the knob that you're paying for and the load resistors. The effects are always going to be the same. So whichever one gets your job done and you have room for, buy it. It's not going to change anything. Dean, you're being mean to Nando. Oh, do you feel like I'm being mean to you?
Oh, I know. I don't care. You know that.
I'm not being mean to him. I mean, wow, really? You should see this guy
Hey,
when the
man.
camera's on. He's the meanest guy in the world to me. You're so mean. Yeah. Okay. Newly installed D61200. Is it normal for the amp to make high-pitched noise like a computer running? No. No, not at all. No. It should not make high-pitched noise like a computer running. Very much so not. If you're hearing like a coming from the amplifier itself, it could be a bunch of different things. There is a fan in it, but there's a clear difference between a fan making fan noises and a high-pitched noise coming directly from the amplifier. So I would put your ear next to it. If it's just the fan making noise, you could have dust in it. Probably blow it out. If it's a brand new amp, so I doubt that it would be. Anyways, if it's not that, then there's probably need to get an RA and get it returned, because you may have like a loose joint somewhere and you're hearing that. So either that or you have your gain up way too high, but I doubt it, because it's almost impossible to do that on an amplifier. Noises besides your music is never normal. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Ground issues could be the problem. Explain when I plug in my phone, the audio chart USB, I get noise. So in my case, the problem is the phone. It could also be the problem that the phone isn't grounded to the car. There can be issues with that sometimes. But no, you should be able to plug your phone into the amplifier with no issues. But you could buy the AC BT25? 24 AC BT24 and just stream it right to there, Bluetooth, aptX, and be done with it. That's about all that thing is good for. But yeah, so I have an amp with an epicenter built in. So do I. The Epicenter 600. They made a 1200 too. What are your thoughts about it, Dean? Are they any good? They're awesome. Kicker made a whole line of amplifiers with their version. It was called Aftershock. There's the 2400 over on the wall over there. That was really cool. And then all the Q class also had Aftershock built into it. But no, the Audio Control did make the Epicenter amp. That was the first amplifiers in this version of their amplifiers, meaning same style heat sinks that they had. The reason they got rid of it was just price. A 600 watt amp was just priced out of its price point for the time. So it was like, nah, we can't do this. So it's kind of a bummer. But I have one because, it's pretty cool. Does 4 gauge versus 0 gauge power cable really make a world of difference, or can I still get decent sound out of 4 gauge? Ooh, it has nothing to do with sound. Okay. When you're trying to decide what power wire to go with, it's not really an argument. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, man. Like, no, that's not how it works. So this is a power wire chart. On the left side, coming down the screen, 0 to 20, 20, this is your amperage draw. So when you either A, look at the fuses on the amplifier, if the amplifier doesn't have them, you can refer to the owner's manual or the website. You take your combined amperage draw, whatever that might be. So let's say 120 to 100, 125 to 150. And then how many feet of wire am I going to use across the bottom? So I can use a 4 gauge wire and get 10 to 13 feet if I'm running between 125 and 150 amps of current. Outside of that, the 2 gauge wire, now I'm looking at 13 to 16 feet. So I would probably at that point start looking at a 0 gauge, because there are companies that make 2 gauge, but a lot of them don't. So if you're in the 85 to 105 range, you can come over here and you get up to 19 feet of 4 gauge. So this just has to do with the performance of the amplifier. You don't want to put a small pipe in front of the amplifier if it needs a lot of current, because it's going to heat up and bad things are going to happen. For one, you're not going to get all the watts that you paid for, which, it's almost as bad as setting your gains wrong, because you're like, oh my gosh, I got to set my gains perfect so I can get, exactly the amount of power it's supposed to be putting out. And if you don't run the right power wire, you're going to run into the same problem. So power wire is important. It's very important. Ground wire and power wire, believe it or not, are of equal importance. So your ground wire and your power wire have to be the same size wire. So every now and then we get a guy that comes in and he ran an 8 gauge or a 4 gauge, and he's got like a 12 gauge ground. It clearly doesn't understand how DC power works. DC power starts at the battery's negative, goes out through the car to the amplifier, out of the amplifier's positive, and then back around. It's a circle. It is the Hakuna Matata circle of life. It is equal importance. That's why in some of these newer cars that are bonded together as opposed to welded together or made of aluminum, the ground is a problem because the resistance of the ground is higher than the amplifier wants. So it's like you're not getting the right size power wire into the amplifier. That's why on the F-150s, we just run a ground. Corvette, we run a ground. Boats, you run a ground. Very important. Why can I click on my Pioneer AVH 200B to clear full memory on Bluetooth? Why can't I? Oh, well, how do you have the light green wire connected? Is it connected? Did you just ground it? Or is it connected to some form of micro bypass? Or is it actually connected to the emergency brake? One of the things that Pioneer locks out when the emergency brake is not done properly is the ability to clear out Bluetooth. That's how we know you didn't do it properly. So a Pioneer, even though sometimes you can like ground it, it seems like it's working. It's not the case. It'll have memory for certain things, but to get into real features, it needs to, when the car turns on, it needs to not be connected to anything, like not connected at all, and you tap it to ground, you release it from ground, you tap it back to ground again. What that'll do is that'll unlock those deep menus. That's why connecting to the emergency brake or getting something like a micro bypass at microbypass.com will allow you to never even experience this. It'll just work. So that's what the problem is. It's the emergency brake wire. Damn those emergency brake wires. They're such a pain. I have a Rockford Power Series speaker in my car. Are there any better loudspeakers? I'm running 250 watts to each of them. Power Series. I mean, loudspeakers? Are we okay? So like Rockford makes their loudspeaker stuff. You know, their big, silver horn thing in the middle with their louds. And those are pretty insane. And they sound actually, for a loudspeaker, not bad. Now, if we're just talking like a T series driver, like a T1, T2, T3, T4, which I don't think you are. I think you're talking about the loudspeakers. Those are pretty impressive. Those are really pretty impressive. I wouldn't kick them out of bed. So. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See? How you doing? You okay over there, man?
Yeah.
You're really working today.
I'm trying to see what else.
Yeah? It's okay, man. Why don't you sit back, relax, like the last 6 minutes of the show. Just let it go, man. It's all right. It's okay.
Hey, Eduardo, ¿cómo estás?
There you go. What is the best way to deal with a factory radio that clips early, like half volume, when running an audio control DSP amp? Do you crank up every frequency on the equalizer to get good volume? No, not at all. I mean, some situations suck. First things first. Okay, we need to know why the radio is clipping. All right, so I don't think I've ever ran into a radio that is halfway up at clips. The first question I would ask is the radio have the proper load resistors on them. Load resistors are very important in a modern installation if you're keeping the factory radio, because some of these factory amplifiers are designed to quit performing at without seeing a load on them because they don't want to blow up. So they will detune themselves and sound bad. So the first thing I would do is make sure that I have the car properly loaded down. Audio control makes the LGD greens. So they make a blue, a green, and a gray. The greens are what most cars need nowadays. The blue for a long time was great, but the green is what works in pretty much everything that's out right now within the last couple of years. So that would be the first thing I'd do, is make sure I have the amplifier, the factory radio, properly loaded down. The second thing is, what are you using to meter to find out that it's clipping? Do we have a distortion detector in there? Is it the milk light on the DSP that's coming on? Are we playing pink noise? Are we playing like 1,000 hertz? Are we just playing 40 hertz? You have a RTA, input RTA built into that, simply looking at it to see what is going on. The second thing is if how much voltage is coming out of the factory radio. That's an important thing too. So if you're getting like no voltage coming out of there, that could be a problem. So there's a lot of little tiny things that you need to kind of figure out what the heck is going on, because for the radio to clip that fast, man, that's pretty bad. You may want to go with some other form of some media and just maybe run the radio in for Bluetooth calling or something like that on one of the inputs.
What's up, Christian? Thank you, man.
Hey guys, I'm late. Went to the mall with the family in Philadelphia and stopped at the Lego store. Good call. I would go to the Lego store too, other than listen to this show. That would probably be a good move. All right, last question. So sit back, relax, man.
This is the last 3 questions.
We don't have, dude. We don't have time for the last 3 questions. I'm not even going to give you time to answer this one. I have a question. I've installed a voice amp
and a sub amp.
Okay, all right. In a 2018 Honda Accord LX, but the bass is not sounding. Why is that? And after I connected everything back, my camera and the buttons. Okay. First things first.
This is the second
steering wheel for the volume source not working, and also the lights on the radio buttons won't come on, but they work. Any advice? Thanks. Make sure all the things are plugged into the radio. First things first. A lot of the times, especially in the newer Honda Accord, there is a plug that will plug into because the radio sits like this in the dash, unless it's one that comes in from the front. But if the plugs are in the bottom facing down, which you said a newer Accord, I'm assuming it is, there is a plug that can plug into the wrong place on the radio. So might need to pull and check to see that you have all the things plugged into the right spot. One is an empty, one is the one you need. The other thing, too, is make sure the little rocker roller switch for the lights is turned up. But it could also be the plug problem on the bottom of the radio that is the issue. The reason why you have no bass is because the factory radio has a high-pass crossover in it. From the factory, it's high-pass crossed over. You're going to need some form of a DSP in that car to bring the bass back. Now, you could do something as simple as an epicenter micro. You can put a kicker key lock in it if you don't want to go that far. Kicker makes the key lock. That's the key LOC that has de-equalization built into it and will fix that problem for you and get you the bass back. The better move is the DSP if you want to do some tuning. That's entirely up to you. If you put the key lock in there, that'll do it. Epicenter micro, you can manually do it. The key will do it automatically. And if you just put a DSP in there, obviously a lot harder to set up, but you can then tailor the sound anything you want. Anytime we do a Honda Accord, it always gets a DSP. No questions asked.
All right, last one.
Yep. Hey guys, if you don't have access to a professional radio install, what is the best package without much soldering, wire, etc., that one can DIY, assuming there is a compromise? All right, so one of the new features that iData has with their harnesses is they make the HR harnesses, and it stands for harness ready. It requires no soldering. So if your car can take an iData interface, you can get the HR harness, and then you buy the corresponding radio manufacturer harness. So they make a Sony 1, Sony 2, Kenwood 1, Kenwood 2, and a Pioneer 1, all of them. And then all you simply do is unbox it, flash it, plug it in, plug your radio harness in, plug into the back of the radio, screw it in the dash, and you're done. There's no soldering required at all. So it's iData, Maestro. You can go to maestro.com and check that out. And that's it. That's all we got. That's the show, guys.
All right.
Wow, Fernando.
That's crazy.
What the heck,
That's
man?
a lot.
It was a lot. All right, listen, guys. Monday, could you pull up the web pages for me? Monday, we will be here Monday. We'll be here Friday. We'll not be here Saturday. Monday, we're going to tell you about the if you were here at the beginning of the show, thank you for sticking with us this long. But you guys never asked about them. You never even asked what these are. At the beginning of the show, we mentioned that we've been busy all week doing some top treatment stuff. They've been sitting here the whole time. Anyways, we will tell you what those are. I'll let you take a look at them so that you can go, oh, crap, that's cool. So we'll show you those Monday because we'll be done with them, and we can let the cat out of the bag for that. You got them? All right.
Yeah.
Cool things that we make. IRTA2. That's right, the IRTA2. You can pick it up. And a lot of the questions you guys ask about input RTA, summing, Which speaker should I connect to? That's what this device is for. It will solve and show you all these things. So you can check it out. There's videos. You can find that at dnftooldraw.com. And if you want cool shirts and apparel, that's dnfswag.com. Also on DNF Tool Drawer, all the cool stuff that we use, that's where you find it. We keep it all there. Makes it nice and easy for you guys to find tools. Like, oh my gosh, I saw that tool in the video. DNF Tool Drawer. That's where it's at. But the IRTA2 is awesome for, there again, to iDevice. It'll work on Lightning and USB-C. Android, they don't make RTA apps, guys. They suck. You know, the developers, not the phones. The phones are great. The developers just aren't making RTA apps. Kind of a bummer. So anyways, that's what we got. So we will see you guys back here Monday. We'll tell you about the special project we've been working on. It's getting closer. Master Tech Expo is mere days away. There's still time. There's still time. You're going to really kill it on the flight because, man, I'd hate to buy a flight a week out. But, hey, you never know. You know, if you want to go and have some fun, yeah, you might find that Spirit Airlines to Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah.
Phoenix. You're going to fly into Phoenix. But, all right, guys.
Bye, Mr. Lara.
It is Saturday night. You know what that guys mean? You know what that means?
Party. Party on.
Go party. Uber, Lyft, friend, someone who's not drinking. Find your way home. Be safe. Have a good time. I'm going to be doing a princess run, so tomorrow morning at 2:30 in the morning, if you're rolling over going, or if you're just coming to bed, know that I'm getting up so that I can go do some stuff with Haley. That ought to be exciting. All right, guys. You have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.